Hi guys, Bolt here once again with more Wargame Red Dragon deck reviews, and this time I'm going to talk about my Dutch-German Mechanized deck. And this is definitely a beast for town battles, forest battles, even armor battles. You got the 2A1s, but yeah, let's jump into it. So in the logistics tab, I went for mostly German stuff, and I'm actually going to change this and put the German one on here, and I'll talk about that really quickly. So yeah, I have the German fob. Nothing really special about that. I have the German Bekannt 6x6, which is a giant supply or view. It says supply, but I usually say fuel truck for some reason. Supply truck with 1750 liters. Then we have the German CH53G airborne supply, and this is definitely a beast. It is very big, goes 320 kilometers per hour, which is very essential on big maps, and it carries 1500. So less than the Benkant's, but definitely worth it putting these in your deck. You can supply these Benkant's on the front line without having to move them back to the fob. So just spawn like 3 or 4 of these, supply a bunch of Benkant's and keep going. Alright, then as for a command, we have one card only. We have the M577G, which is the German command vehicle, which is kind of the cheapest variant, but if you're playing a 1v1, I would recommend going for a UAZ or a gas, whatever the hell you call it. But otherwise, if you're playing with friends, I would recommend something armored, just in case, because you will probably get RT'd quite a lot. Then for the most important thing in this mechanized deck is the infantry tab. I filled it up completely, 96 units total, about like 75 fighting infantry, if we take the Genie, Fliegerfaust, and Parmilan out. But yeah, let's talk about this. We have the Panzer or the Fallschirmjäger 90s in the CH53G, beautiful infantry, the HKG11 with that Panzerfaust 3 and the MG3 combo just wrecks anything. Helicopters, infantry, tanks, it'll just tear everything open. Then we have the basic Fallschirmjägers, basically to reinforce these, just to spread them out over the flanks to keep as a good defensive / recon unit. And these have similar loadouts, but they have a less powerful, instead of the assault rifle, they have the SMG, which is a 9mm PB gun, but it does do good in close range. It definitely goes neck to neck with this G11. And it has the Panzerfaust 44 instead of the Panzerfaust 3, which is, not a problem. I usually use these to reinforce other units that have good AT, so it doesn't really matter that much. And both in the CH53Gs. Then, the mechanized part. We have the Panzergrenadier 90s with the G3, the Panzerfaust 3, MG3 in Martyr 2s. This is one of the most powerful combos when it comes down to infantry APC combo. 50mm, 10 front armor, 70% accuracy. That is just going to wreck a lot of things. I think it's kind of similar what the Combat is in the American decks. Yeah, Panzerfaust or Panzergrenadier 90s with that Panzerfaust 3 and those weapons, the battle rifle and the MG3. It is just the perfect infantry to fight in towns and in forests. You can just take out any APCs or tanks with like 1 or 2 shots. Then we get the same Panzergrenadier 90s in the Martyr 1s. Kind of a cheaper variant. I don't want to keep spending 40 points on the APC alone. 15 points for the Martyr 1s. Perfect for assaulting towns. And if you don't want to risk losing the Martyr 2s, which is 40 points. So yeah, just keep in mind where you put these. I usually like to put these as fire support, way out of the range of tanks or anything else. Then we have the Dutch shock troops, the Stoottroepen 95 in the weird vehicles, the 76550s. I'm not going to say the rest of it. I definitely like these shock troops. They have the 84, which is a very, very beast AT. It is fast firing, which is a huge, huge bonus when you're fighting in towns and in forests. You can take those BTR 90s and lighter tanks out in a few shots very quickly as well. So definitely something you should put in your decks as well. Then we have the Grenadiers, and I'm going to compare these with the Jaegers, and you will see why I went for this instead of the Jaeger. Some of you are probably already wondering that. Is because of the price. It is 5 points less. It has a better AT when it comes down to rate of fire. And it has slightly better, well, it has kind of the same battle rifle. It is actually quite similar, the FAL and the G3. It's kind of the same, and in terms of stats, it is exactly the same in this game. So no difference there. And they have the FN Mag, which is quite similar to the MG3, not in terms of rate of fire or range, but it does a very good job because of its accuracy. But yeah, for 5 points more, just having a support infantry for a total of 20 points is just a no-brainer, really. For 15, sorry. Then we have the Genies to support those Grenadiers with that Napalm launcher. no other words needed for this. Then finally the Fliegerfaust 2 as Manpads and the Paul Milan 2s. So, let's jump into the support tab. Here we have a lot of AA this time. We have the iHawk Hios, the Dutch variant of the iHawks, the non-radar variants. It is guided. You only get 4 of them on trained, 3 on hardened, but I just went for 4 trained because I just like the blob of AA. I just hope that some of them hit instead of counting on 1 or 2 AA pieces to hit all the time. And if they get shot down, it's pretty much all of your AA gone. But yeah, very good AA pieces, 4,200 meters range, 50% accuracy. To support those, we have the FRP Roland 3s, which is a faster firing AA piece with 65% accuracy. Same range, actually a better range on helicopters, slightly less range on airplanes, but close enough to take down bombers and such. And then we have the Dutch variant of the Flak Panzer, the Cheetah PRTL, and I did not go for the German ones because this one, the most expensive one, is 65 points and you only get 4 of them on trained. You can't go for the... Actually, now that I think of it... Okay, you get the same amount when you go for the Dutch or German ones, but I just went for the Cheetah because it just sounds cool. There's no real difference if you go for the German Flakpanzer Gepard or the Cheetah PRTL of the Dutch. I'm actually going to go for the Flakpanzer Gepard because it kind of makes the deck look a little bit more organized. Here we go. So yeah, the only Dutch AA that we have is the non-radar Hawks. Then the tanks. This is kind of something that I would fill up a little bit more in all of my other decks, but I needed some more points for the planes. But I went for the KPZ-70 Kylers to help out in forests and such, and when I'm assaulting towns. And I went for 14 hardened Leopard 2A1s. And that is pretty much the best tank you can get in a mechanized deck when it comes to Germany. Now the Dutch do have their upgraded 2A1, but the only upgrade is... Actually, it's more of a downgrade, really. They have a downgraded assault LMG on it. So I just went for the German ones. But yeah, 14 of those will do a good job of holding back any tanks. Then in the Recon tab, we have 7 of these Leopard 1-5, or actually 1Vs. I'm just going to call them 1V for Kenning Recon tank. We have the Bo 105 CB Recon Helicopter, and we have the BGS Recon Infantry. And this is the only one you get in helicopters. It is militia, the training. So I wouldn't really recommend using these to take down enemy commands. I would just use these purely for spotting. So just turn off all the guns. In the vehicle tabs, we have the Pratt, the Dutch ATGM vehicle with 12 TOW-2 missiles. No other words needed for this. It is amphibious, it is armored, it is a beast. It is fast off-road too. And then we have the Kanonjagdpanzer, and I definitely want to try these guys out. I've tried them out in a few matches in multiplayer, and they definitely do a good job of, not of killing tanks, but of stunning infantry and taking them down in towns. Basically act as fire support. They definitely do a good job with that 12 rounds per minute. Just put like 4 of them somewhere and you get 48 rounds per minute. That is insane, okay? Put 5 of them and you get like more than 1 shot a second. That is sick. And you get 22 of them. So yeah, it's kind of the NATO equivalent of the, what was that cheap vehicle? The BMP? No. I'll go through that as soon as this deck is over. But yeah, in the helicopter tab, we have the Escort, and I did not go for anything else because I needed the points. But if you don't like the Escort, just go for the Bo 105 for ATGMs. But speaking of ATGMs, I just went for the Block 105 CU to take down enemy tanks with those 4 Mavericks. To support it, I have the F-16A MRU. You get 2 of them on hardened, so definitely no brainer, just go for these. They have 4 MRAMs and 2 Sidewinders and that Vulcan cannon, so very good playing as well. Then as for seed, we have a Tornado ECR, one of my favorite seed planes, 4 seed missiles with an insane range, 2 Tornado IDS bombers, and 3 Napalm bombers. If you don't like Napalm, I would recommend going for another Tornado IDS. But if you want more ASFs, go for the Block 1. Very good plane as well for 90 points. So yeah, that is pretty much my Dutch-German mechanized deck. The code will be in the description. I'm just going to save this and go to one of my Soviet decks and talk about what the Red 4 equivalent is of the Kanonjagdpanzer, and it is somewhere over here. Yep, it's the ASU 85M. So yeah, if you compare this to the Kanonjagdpanzer, for double the points, you get a better rate of fire, and I believe a better accuracy. Let me just check that. So 1925 by 30. So we're just gonna quickly go back to my Dutch-German. So yeah, same range, same accuracy, but higher rate of fire. So yeah, for 10 points more. So definitely something you should try out. Anyway, that was it. Hope you guys found this deck review useful to help you build your own deck. I do recommend just using mine as a template and then just, you know, playing around with some of the units you don't like, some of the units you like more. Perhaps get a better modern one for these Pentagram 90s and such, or go for more commands. But yeah, this is my preference. This is my quote-unquote ultimate Dutch-German mechanized deck. And I hope I served you well today, my masters. Anyway, as always, I will see you in the next one.